Hey, do you guys remember that time I tried to remember the time we couldn't remember remembering? Remember?
This is how it is today on Pop Culture Minefield. This is how it is today. This is how it is today on Pop Culture Minefield.
Yeah, I would like that opening theme. That is so nice. Anybody here? Anybody? No, it's like dead. Nobody's watching. We're just another one of those dead shows.
What do you mean?
Not
Emmanuel
dead.
is here.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Live
They're
from
all drinking their
France.
coffee.
One of the handful of French people I like. She knows what I'm talking about. Parisians tend to be some of the biggest assholes in the world. When I got out in the countryside, people were great. They're very friendly, and I, of course, very friendly. I met a lot of my French family because my family comes from the Alsace-Lorraine, both the French side and the German side. And on one side, it's Kaisel. In France, it's Kaisel. And so the German side, they're fucking hillbillies, man. Fuck those people. I met my German family, and I'm like, I don't want to be related to you. Please, God, let me just be French. But it's like only this much French. The rest is Celt.
Good thing all this is so far away from you anyway.
I know. So I've always joked. I said I'm 88% Celt and 12% adopted Celt. Because I don't want to admit to that one German that fucked his way into my family.
Just give his name.
Yeah, and I get stuck with the asshole's name, right? And you should be. I was complaining about it, though, because this film actually does talk about the Vichy French. And movies tend to tone it down in a way that really, like, to me, it's lying about history. That, yes, there was a percentage of the fucking French that went to the other side, the dark side.
Isn't that French troops in the North Africa scene at the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
Isn't that French troops? That's what I thought.
Yeah, they're going up against the Vichy French.
And you had that one turncoat that ran out there and started firing on them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, the officer goes out there and he says, "You will fire your weapon." "I will not." And he shoots him. And then he grabs the machine gun and the other soldier shoots him, the officer. Yeah. And he, of course, squeezes down on that fucking machine gun. I think that was that the Maxim? I'm not sure which one that was.
It was a big one. Yeah,
it was a top loader. It was a top loading machine gun. And in his death throw, he pulls the trigger and hits a couple of guys. And next thing you know, there's a small battle, but they're yelling, "We are French. We do not want to fight. We surrender."
Yep.
Oh, I love that part. I said, we do not accept your surrender. You only surrender to your enemy. Wow.
Right. That was a good line, yeah.
And
but I've told people on D-Day there were Frenchmen killing Americans on D-Day, and they never show it. They never show it. And the reason why is, we had such a great relationship with France, except for Parisians, because they tend to be assholes about everything. Oh, Americans, you're sick. I told you my run-in with the taxi driver. Like, I told him the address of the hotel I was staying at, and the address, and he didn't know English, and I'm like, the address I just gave you is in French. Get us there. There's no tip. He started driving like he didn't speak for American. Fuck you. Hey, Meth is here. What's up, brother? You're in listen mode only. That's sad. Well, we're going to be talking about a film that wasn't at its best when I saw it. And that's because of, studio interference. But it is a great film. Even the theatrical release is still, I consider it a great film. And I know I went to see it with my father when it came out. I was 16. And I remember my dad having his frustration, because I tell you right now, my dad should have been a continuity editor for film because he noticed everything that was wrong.
Yeah, it's got problems. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like, look, they shot it on a very small budget. In fact, it's an indie budget. They gave him so much money, they took some of that money back, and then they took over editing the film. They pretty much fired him. Sam Fuller, and he'd already been screwed over once before with a film that he shot back in the 50s, and it was Warner Brothers screwed him over, and it was Warner Brothers again that screwed him over with this one. And it's kind of sad, but he died in 99, I think, and within 4 years of his death, Peter Bogdanovich and friends got together, and because Bogdanovich was directly involved with him getting the funding to make the movie, and he led a team to finally get the footage to restore the closest thing to, it's called the reconstruction cut. And it is the one that we're going to be talking about today and showing today. 2 hours and 42 minutes. It's 48 minutes longer than the original theatrical
I was supposed
cut.
to say that's a lot longer than the one I
don't have that
thinking.
one.
Yeah,
I have the theatrical.
yeah. The theatricals, what, just under 2 hours, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
we
that's
sat through the
not
long
good.
one last night.
Mm-hmm.
That's because that's the one I kept saying I wanted to do, the director's cut, the reconstructed cut.
Mm.
Oh well, what it is.
Yeah.
It's just a slideshow, so I guess it doesn't matter. I'm still going to be talking about it because what they did is over a period of 4 years, they found the footage in a studio warehouse in Kansas City.
Wow.
And were able to restore the film. Thank God to, early steps made in digital restoration. By 2004, they were able to restore the film. They released the special edition of it on Blu-ray, well, DVD. Now it's Blu-ray. And it was a 2-disc set. And it was over 5 hours of extra material, great interviews with Sam Fuller. And a lot of people don't know that even though this film is a work of fiction, it's still partly true because it is based off of Sam Fuller's actual experiences.
Wow.
And what's his name? Carradine is Sam Fuller's character.
Which one is that?
A lot of people know when he was 17 years old.
That's the writer, the one who's always.
Yeah, he's the writer. And when he was 17 years old, he was already a journalist for a newspaper at 17.
Yeah.
And he published a book. And they showed that in the film too. It's a different name. And he sold a screenplay. Well, his mother did while he was in combat. And technically what he was with the 16th Infantry Regiment, part of the Big Red One. He was a combat correspondent. They don't say that in the film, but that's really what he was. The same thing Dale Dye was in the Marines. Yeah, Dale Dye was the same thing in Vietnam. He was a combat correspondent, but he was attached to a military unit. He was absolutely in combat, and he was armed. All of them were armed because they were still infantry first. They're secondary MOS second.
Yeah, there's so many Carradine brothers that I was just trying to remember which one it was, and it was Robert.
Yeah, which one was it that hanged himself? Oh, yeah, it was David.
Yeah, that's David. Robert's the Revenge of the Nerds guy.
Yep.
And there's Keith Carradine, who I think is probably of the brothers the best actor.
Yeah. Yeah. My
Even
favorite movie
better
with
than
him
his
in
dad.
is Southern Comfort. I love Southern Comfort. I think
Oh,
that's
it's a really terrible film in so many ways, but it is a guilty pleasure of mine.
Oh yeah, there's a
It's
bunch
like,
of bullshit
that
in
is
there
not
for
how
sure.
you
Yeah.
fire blanks in
No.
a fucking M16.
Right.
And nobody would fall for that shit. And what kind of National Guard unit are you?
Right?
You guys are
Not too much
terrible.
discipline going on there.
Yeah, they were just like next step to just rednecks themselves.
They
And then
made.
they're talking shit about other rednecks in the movie. I'm like, you got room to talk.
I have to tell
But it's
you,
got Powers Booth, so I love the film.
yeah, I have to tell you that is not an accurate representation of the Louisiana State National Guard. I can tell you that right now. I was a member of it, so
Or any
we don't
National
act
Guard, to
like
be
that.
honest with you. I
Now-
think even with Rambo, I thought it was a bad representation of the National Guard.
Now the Cajun parts buy every bit of that shit. Those
those
they
people
would
are
kill your
fucking
ass
weird.
and dump you in the swamp, no problem.
Yeah, they're fucking weird and they're scary.
Yeah, they are.
The-
Oh, the only
and
difference
it's the
between
one
them
accent I
guys-
could never Creole or Cajun. I cannot imitate that accent. It's so weird.
It's tough, man. Yeah,
because it's got the hint of French in there.
Mm-hmm.
And
You suck.
and
at
by the
French,
way,
everybody
Emmanuel,
knows that.
I am hoping upon hope that we're going to see a cascade effect and get those commies out of your country. Because I'm telling you, people are getting sick and they're getting riled up and they're hitting the streets. And it's going to get even more violent if the leftists don't let go. Because there's less of them than there are of us. What's that, buddy?
Have you seen a lefty that does let go? I haven't seen that.
No, they're tenacious. It absolutely is. And Emmanuel, I am hoping upon all hope, because we're already seeing an effect, almost like a domino effect happening. And it's international, that some of these leaders are stepping up and they're getting cozy with the elected president. And I'm telling you, it's either going to get better or it's going to get really bad and then get better. And you know what I mean when I say really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Every veteran knows what I'm talking about. So in this movie, you know, again, this is Sam Fuller's personal experiences with the Big Red One. He is Robert Carradine's character. And what I liked about this film is they had two combat veterans from World War II involved with this film, Sam Fuller himself and Lee Marvin. And so they really didn't require a technical advisor for the film, because between the two of them, they've seen a lot of combat, both wounded in combat, both of them. And a lot of people don't know this. Sam Fuller also received a Silver Star.
Wow.
For courage under fire.
That's cool. I do
Now,
like some of the stuff
let's
that they showed.
What's that?
Go ahead. I was
No,
just
you go
gonna-
ahead.
I was going to comment that I really enjoyed some of the parts of this where they showed some of the less glorified parts of being a soldier, like that one part in North Africa where they're all dusty and they're having to clean their weapons. You know, a lot of people think in movies you just pick up a weapon and fire it. You better maintain that sucker. It's not going to work for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they
One
showed that,
Absolutely.
but on
of
the
the
other
few
hand,
movies
they,
they show them in the field tearing down
but
their
their
weapons.
uniforms
and
are
cleaning them.
always clean, and that's one thing
Yeah.
that pisses me off. When they show the soldiers like if they had just dressed and they've been out for weeks. Not
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to point something out to you, because Fuller talked about this in one of the interviews, that the sergeant was part of what became the Big Red One, hence them showing that opening scene. But
Mhm.
I've explained to people before, I said, my grandfather was a cannoneer. But when he got to Europe, France, for World War I, America wasn't in the fight yet. So he ended up going up and giving support to the French. It wasn't until the Battle of Bella Wood. And then all of a sudden, they just started pulling people together. And they created, and hence the name of the script for the story about my grandfather is called The Bastard's Drum, because he was in a bastard brigade made up of a bunch of others. They're just pulled together. And that's how the Big Red One came into existence. There were a bunch of soldiers that were pulled together to make this one fucking unit. And they became one of the biggest fighting forces of World War II.
Well, look, one thing people forget about World War One is you're right. We didn't get involved in it right away, and a lot of our people that were
they wanted us to keep our nose out of it.
They went to Canada to go fight with them.
Yep. You had two groups of people, and this is my problem with a lot of the people that call themselves conservatives during World War One and World War II that wanted to stay out of it, and the fact is, once it goes to a certain level and you see what's happening, you owe it as a human being to do your part.
You can't turn a blind eye to it anymore, can you?
You can't. But anyway, what I was getting ready to start with a few minutes ago was that right there in the image behind us there, right next to Joe, you see a tank there with the German cross on it. But that's actually a Sherman tank. And they didn't have the budget to get some of the stuff. But the problem is at that time, German tanks were not really available. And so a lot of these films like Kelly's Heroes, they dress up other tanks to look like them. And in this one, there wasn't a budget again to make them look more like Tiger tanks. It was just impossible for them. I mean, you see that 30 caliber machine gun ball turret on the front of the Sherman. It's like, I'm sorry, that's a fucking Sherman tank. I can't. Yeah. Even as a kid, I was like, well, that's a Sherman.
That's not right.
That's not right. But you just sort of throw a blind eye to it. But not my dad. My dad was pissing and moaning the whole time we watched this movie. He goes, one of the biggest fucking beach invasions known to man. There were 1,000 ships on that. And in the background, you see one ship. We're having trouble going to X right now.
Yeah, X is acting up.
Did you see that, Martin? Did you get that notice?
Yes, I'm
okay.
Seeing it. We were on X.
Hopefully it'll pop back on there because that's where a lot of the people watch us.
Yeah.
Which beach landing were you talking about? You talking about the Sicily
Normandy.
one or the
no D-Day?
Normandy.
Oh, the D-Day one.
Nation Normandy. And what he did was very smart because he knew he had a small crew and he kept shots tight, which is a smart way. If you're not Steven Spielberg, and you're shooting independently like he was, he had to shoot very smartly. But my God, my dad kept like sitting there going, why didn't they just use one of those painting things? And I'm like, I'm matte painting. Like 16, I knew all about filmmaking. It's called a matte painting, Dad. It's painting on glass.
They could have. He had a point.
They easily could have. And when they did the restoration, they could have even done digital at that time and add more ships in the background. Just because it is really, when you see the scene, you're just like, I mean, there's only one fucking ship during D-Day? No, that's not.
No.
But it's a great scene because it shows this the nightmarish, and I don't want to use the word because YouTube doesn't like it, but it starts with an S type mission. And where you have these men and they've all been given a number. And he calls out that number, and that person has to, self-deletion mission, where that guy has to run as far as he can with that Bangalore mine. And the Bangalores, what they were pipe explosives that were specifically designed to go up and through barbed wire and concertina wire and blow it apart. And they end up at number 7, man. And that's Mark Hamill's character. And again, I'm going to point out Mark Hamill, big role for him. That guy couldn't act to save his life. He is just an awful, awful actor. He's better at voice acting. He's good at voice acting.
Trigger discipline.
Oh my God, his trigger discipline in this thing was driving me insane.
It looks so
pulling,
stupid.
every time he pulls a trigger, he's like shaking the gun. And it's not like he's trying to make it look like recoil. It's just he's jerking the trigger. And oh my God, I got so frustrated watching that. But
And this
one
is the
thing a
guy
lot
that
of
didn't
people
want to
don't
murder
pick up,
anybody.
he was the best shot in the company, and he never shot at anyone. And that's why that scene when he gets to the camp there in Hungary, or was it Czechoslovakia? I'm sorry, Czechoslovakia. Yeah, and he shoots that German in the that's hiding in an oven, and just keeps shooting him. It just keeps shooting.
Yeah,
And
then
I
the
love it when
sergeant
Lee
goes by and
Marvin
says,
finally
"I
walks
think
in there.
you got him."
He goes, "Hey, I don't want to distract you from what you're doing, but I think you got him."
And he just keeps firing.
Yeah.
And
And this is the guy that didn't want to murder anybody, right?
didn't want to kill
Yeah.
anybody. He's a pacifist, which I totally get, because that's usually a lot of them ended up as medics, which is why it's kind of surprising, because there were medics in these units. And they don't really show any medics with the big red one, and I thought that was odd.
Yeah. That tends to be, you see a lot of war movies where they don't show medics, and I've never understood that,
Yeah,
the
Saving
bigger
Private Ryan
productions
nailed
do.
it.
Yeah, they
Saving
did.
Private
They did a
Ryan
good
nailed
job
it.
with that one, but you know what I'm talking about. A lot of these movies, they don't show a medic, and every unit had one, or several.
The other day I was talking to I didn't know I was talking to Canadians, because they said the Marine unit, and it said they're medics, and I'm like, I thought they were talking about Americans. I said, well, Marines don't have their own medics. They use Navy hospital corpsmen, and yeah, they probably don't know much about weapons. And the guy goes, no, these are Canadians. I said, oh, I have no idea about you Canadians and what you do or don't know about combat. So I said, I was a combat medic, and I was the best shot in my company, and I was better with field stripping and putting my weapon back together than anybody, because I grew up around firearms, and I knew that, because I'd handled the AR-15 before I even joined the military, so I knew how to field strip when I went in. That's why the drill sergeant's like, how are you so good at that? No, I don't know. A lot of people think about sex. All I think about is guns.
What?
I told that to a drill instructor. I don't bother with sex. These guns is it for me. That's my turn on. And it took him a minute, and he finally realized I was fucking with him. And I got away with fucking with drill instructors, because I was what they called squared away. And drill sergeants were warning each other drill sergeant about me as time went by. They would all get a warning. Don't fuck with him. He's smarter than
Kissel. He's gonna embarrass you. Don't take the bait. Don't do it.
And by the way, good morning, Sandra. How are you today? Hope you're doing well. And by the way, Emmanuel, every night I say my prayers for all of you guys out there. I love that patch. I do love that patch.
Yeah, it's iconic. No doubt.
My first unit patch was 29th ID. That's the
Mine was the one right there.
Symbol.
Mine was the 89th Military Police Brigade. That one right there. Mm-hmm. Based in Fort Hood, Texas.
And then when I was with the 309th Med Ambulance, I was part of 6th.
The other one I had was Force Com when I was on Johnson Island. That's a pretty generic patch. That's a wide scoping unit,
I liked it when I was with the 29th, because that's a cool patch, the yin yang. But I wasn't with them for very long. I don't know what she shared
Zoom
there.
in on that one. That's a dragon with a sword through it. It's freaking cool. I love it.
Oh, yes, that's Anima's cat. It's trapped in the wall right now. So it's
that's Rocket Kitty, Emmanuel. Her name is Amelia, but the community here, they call her Rocket Kitty ever since they saw her zoom through my room behind me when I was still in Croatia.
So somebody help me. What is that? I can't see the emoji.
Oh,
it's
the love
my face
emoji.
with hearts.
Yeah,
it's say it all at the same time.
Face with hearts around it.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to thank anybody else, because y'all were like talking at the same time, and I don't know what the fuck you said.
The same thing. Fuck you.
Yeah, screw me.
So they darkened his hair, because Lee Marvin, I'm going to tell you something. He's looked like he's been in his 50s since he was in his 20s.
Right? He looks like he's 80.
Come on, man.
The guy is
old and grumpy.
good looking but ugly at the same time. But I love Lee Marvin. I've been watching him since he got started. First time I ever saw him was on an episode of the original Dragnet.
Really?
I think it was either the first or second episode.
Wow.
He's
Cool.
He's the killer.
Imagine
he's a good actor. I love this scene because he just killed that German, Ethel Merman. That's a joke from a movie. Does anybody know the joke?
Merman. That sounds like something out of a Mel Brooks flick.
Close. It's a Carl Reiner comedy.
Okay.
With Steve Martin.
Okay.
The Zimmerman. Ethel Merman. So they use a kind of a soft filter on him, and I'm like, you don't have to de-age him, man, because he's always looked like that.
Right.
And he was a badass. Like, I remember reading about his sergeant, his gunny sergeant, said, he says, the image I always have in my head of Lee Marvin before we shipped out for combat in the Pacific was him in between the shelter halves, and there was this one tree, and he was throwing his bayonet at it, learning how to throw a bayonet. And that was this image of Lee Marvin. Lee Marvin was a combat soldier, wounded in combat. I can't remember if it was, I think it was Taipei, where he got shot in the ass and his entire squad was killed. He was the only survivor. And it was a beach, by the way, invasion. And they got wiped out.
Mm.
And he begged the medics to leave him so he could die with his friends.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Mm.
So sad.
Survivor's guilt.
Yeah, terrible thing.
And you see all these characters, and so many of them die pretty quickly. Eventually, it becomes the Four Horsemen, because only the 4 original members are the only survivors. Everybody else was killed. God, there's so many great moments in this, because they had the early version of the Bouncing Betty. Depicted in this, where this one soldier, he gets up to go get something, and there's an explosion behind him. They run up, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this one won't kill you. You'll be fine. You'll survive." He says, "These are designed to take your manhood away." Yeah.
Yeah.
And the guy gets in panic mode, because this is true. This is so true. Guys panic when they get hit by these things. They, please tell me I got my dick and balls. Please tell me I got my dick
and then Lee Marvin said, "Oh, here it is. I found it."
Is that my dick? He goes, "Is that my dick?" And he goes, "No, it's just your ball. You only need one."
It's okay.
And he winks at the other guys. It was messed up.
That Bouncing Betty, though, that landmine right there has got to be the worst one that's ever been created. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, dude. That's just redonkulous. I mean, I've always been a fan of the Claymore. It's the biggest shotgun in the world, but that thing right there. Oh.
Now this is that scene. This is down in Algeria, and the French, the Vichy French, are there at the beach, and they're hoping and they're broadcasting, "Please don't shoot. We are your friends. We do not want to shoot Frenchmen." Which I think in reality, I think they said, "We do not want to kill Frenchmen," is what the announcement really was. They toned it down again for the film. And they kind of showed, I can't kill an American. I love this.
Yeah.
And belated greetings to you, 11 Alpha, from snowy, icy Missouri. We are snowed and iced in right now.
Snowed in too. Wow.
Yeah, because after the ice storm, here came the storm. I went to the bathroom I got up at 7 this morning, and I'm sitting there just sort of looking out, because I love that the window is always there and it's open because the cats, not the window, the shade is open because the cats like to get up in the window. And I look out there, and it's like I see snow going by the window, and I went, "Oh my God, is it snowing again?" And then I realized it's so fucking cold that the snow is dry and it's just blowing off the roof, looking like it's snowing right now. I hate it when it gets that cold, that dry cold. Or an article for Infantry, the magazine of the infantry school, on mine warfare in Bosnia. There's a lot worse than bouncing Betties these days. Oh my God, some of the shit out there. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get into that.
Yeah.
I think
I wish
there's
I
still
could get
areas in
11
Bosnia
Alpha
where
on
you
the show.
can't go because of the riots.
11 Alpha does need to come on the show. It'd be fun to talk to him.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
He
And by the way,
suggested one movie, and we said we need to have him on then when we do it.
yeah, so, yeah. What was the movie? You remember?
I forgot. Let me check my notes.
You're in charge of the lists. So, but anyway, yeah, because my God, some of the booby traps out there. I mean, in Vietnam, it was the improvised ones that were terrifying for a lot of guys. Bungee sticks is the things people were most afraid of, other than bouncing Betties, because these spikes were, bamboo spikes were covered in feces. And it was designed to kill you, even if you survive it.
Just ugh.
Do you have like a mobile device? Jesus, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm on the show on my iPad every week. What's up?
I'm on this show in my underwear.
Nobody needed to know that.
TMI, Gary. TMI.
Oh, no such thing with that guy. Believe
I'm
me.
in my robe.
That's why I love the camera doesn't catch down here. Hi, Penny. Penny dropped by the show last night, and then the minute he started playing the music, I had to, because I knew they were going to claim us, and I shut the stream down on YouTube. I let it go on Twitter though, so we still broadcast on Twitter. But Penny was in the chat, and so was Zach's. But the minute I cut off that show on YouTube, they got cut off, and it sucks.
Yeah,
I love seeing them in the chat.
I found one movie that he suggested. I don't know if that's the one where we want to have him on. That's Battleground, 1949.
Oh, that's a great film. Sam Fuller. I think that's a Sam Fuller film, isn't it?
The only one that I find with his name.
And I don't know if I've told you before, again, 11 Alpha, because Tim lives there too, by the way. Tim lives in Virginia. I'm from Virginia. I'm from Fredericksburg. That town fucking sucks now. Yeah, I love some of the locations they picked too. Except for Bosnia, static electricity triggers. So if you run your finger along the tripwire to find the mine, you set off the mine. Yeah.
That's nasty. Jesus Christ, knock it off, cat.
Yep, there we go. Saltpeter. People think that's bullshit. And it's like, no, that stuff doesn't do that. I'm like, the fuck it doesn't.
Tell you something.
That shit fucking keeps you from, if you eat it every day, it knocks your pecker off. It just won't work. And I remember in boot basic training, we were in there for about three weeks, and this guy always coming up to me with medical problems, because I was already a medic, and before I went in the army, and he's like, yo, kiss him, man, kiss him. Like, man, my shit ain't working, man. Like, what are you talking about? My dick, man. I always have a boner in the morning, but the last week I haven't had one. I'm like, shut up and get away from me. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like going, you know what? I remember waking up this morning and I didn't have one. And I always have a piss hard on in the morning. So next thing you know, we're all in the bathroom, because that's where we go to get away from drill sergeant. We go into the latrine and we're all grouped in there around the sinks. And all of us are like, holy shit, I haven't had a boner either. And it's like, oh my fucking God. And he goes, what? And I said, every meal, what do they give us? Every meal, 3 squares a day.
Potatoes.
And guess what? Those potatoes are already pre-seasoned. They went, so? I said, saltpeter is salty. They're putting it in the fucking potatoes. And I confronted the drill sergeant. Everybody's there. They picked me because I was squad leader of our group, and everybody else kind of acquiesced to Julio and me for everything. So I go in there and I confront drill sergeant about it. Permission to speak.
Oh, man.
And he said, I will neither confirm nor deny. And he just chuckled about it. And I just looked at the guys. I said, that's a confirmation, my friends.
Yes,
I said, so from that point forward, those of us in the know, and it was like 6 of us, we started trading our potatoes for other stuff. And all of a sudden, we got our peckers back within a week. But the reason they do it is because during training, they don't want you thinking about your pecker and being lonely and thinking about a girl, because that's how AWOLs happen. And speaking of that, this is a great scene where this one German, Ethel Merman, is talking to Schneider, I think is his name, right? Anima?
No.
Who's the other kind of main character?
Schroeder.
Schroeder. So,
okay.
So he's talking like a person who's kind of tired of Adolf Hitler. Yeah, no, I don't like him. No, I'm kind of done with doing this bullshit. And then using his Schmeisser, he fucking shoots this guy, rolls to his death down at the bottom of a dune. And this guy is kind of like that through the whole film, hardcore soldier for Germany, you know. And we have this great bookend scene because the movie opens with him killing a German up close and personal, knifes him and kills him. And
there's a lot
it's
of knives
after
in this movie.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of that in that kind of combat because, man, once you get to CQB, man, it gets personal. So he ends up, and by the way, I explained to Anima the different kind of mesh netting that was used on helmets, and this tended to be the guys for the ground troops. They used a wider mesh netting for guys that were like in the Rangers, airborne. So you'll see, like, if you watch like Saving Private Ryan and this, and then you watch Band of Brothers, you'll see they have a different kind of mesh netting. I think we kind of proved it. And I know that the nuns use that shit on kids too. Because none of us were getting morning peckers until after we stopped eating potatoes. And like I said, it's a logical thing because they want to keep guys from wanting to go AWOL during training, which is your highest risk level of going AWOL. Because it's such a transition. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Oh, wait, American tank.
Even if they had the money to get them, they couldn't have because there are not many left. So it's a problem.
Well, that was the problem they ran into. And you had two different kinds of.
All the movies.
I think they used the M48 because that's an M48 right there, right? On the old chassis.
Mm-hmm.
If they had the money, they could go and dress them up, but they all had the problem of not being able to find the real tanks.
Yeah, nobody had Spielberg money back then.
No.
Spielberg
didn't even have that money yet.
They show where they have these foxholes they're hiding in, and that they're allowing the tanks to ride over them, which you hear them screaming. That's fucking horrifying. And even later, they bring up the fact that one of the guys died of a heart attack when the tanks were going by. They're like, he's not hurt. No, he had a heart attack. It happens. I'm not sure. It could have been an M36. Let me go look. It still looked like the Sherman chassis, but the turret was different.
They did what they could, I think.
Because the M36 is a tank destroyer. There it is, loading. Hold on, let me pull it up.
That's what she said.
Jesus Christ, Martin.
I'm bored.
You're fixated. But yeah, when chat is
No,
quiet, like
I don't think that was an
not much.
M36. I don't think it was an M36 Alpha. Because the chassis is wrong.
This part here is after he's been shot.
Yeah.
And he's in the.
And not happy with the
so-
dude telling him the war's over for him.
And this scene was
Right.
so confusing when I saw it in the theater. I'm like, what is going on? I was so confused by that.
Well, isn't it a triage set up in a building? Isn't that what it is? It's not
It's
an
an
actual
And
improvised
like,
hospital.
who the
is it?
fuck is that guy trying to kiss him? Like, that
Yeah.
was so fucking weird.
Yeah. It's an improvised hospital.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a triage set up in a hospital in a building, in a war zone because it gets attacked. It's pretty. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't remember another movie where we saw something like this. Usually, you see him back, behind the lines in a medical bed, and then they send him back out. You don't see this very often in a flick. But
But
I'm
they
sure
show
they
what
had these
happens
all over the
when-
place in war zones. I mean, I don't really know the
They
history
did,
of it.
and when an actual alarm takes place, only the Germans get to go to the shelter in the basement.
Wow.
That is fucked up. Yeah. It's in German, so maybe you guys didn't get it, but yeah. There's a German guy announcing that all the Germans had to go to the basement for the alarm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
They treat everyone, but when there's a bomb alert, you better be German.
Wow.
And I love how he just walks out of there looking like an Arab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got all the robes on and everything. And he's what cracked me up is when he starts smoking the stogie through the veil.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like he needs an extra filter for the cigar. Look at that.
I didn't even catch that yesterday.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
And the four guys recognize him just for the walking.
Yeah, just by the way he's walking. Of course.
Yeah, no matter what, 11 Alpha, I'm looking at all these, and it's definitely a Sherman chassis. The turret was different because it had that part that sticks out on the back of the turret. Yeah, I love this scene. It's like day in the life.
It's the Top Gun scene.
Just a little less gay.
You know what? Still,
What?
it's the one I'm finding still has the wrong chassis. So hold on, I'm thinking.
Let it go, Gerry. Let it go.
Yeah.
And
I
he's
think
just-
it's an
Back to the
M50.
movie, please.
I
That's
think
his
it's an
OCD.
M50. I'm sorry, I'm talking military stuff with 11 Alpha.
What's cool
And I
about
think
this,
that's
though, while you're looking for
M50.
that, what's cool about this, though, I don't know if you guys noticed the propaganda posters on the wall. There's a picture.
Yep.
There's a poster of Eisenhower.
Well, they
on
got
the
them all
wall.
over the place, including in it when they show Il Duce and all that shit. I love that.
Yeah.
A lot of attention to detail. This is one of my favorite moments. Oh, lo mio. He puts that barrel in his guy, holds his mouth open for him. He shoves the end of his M1
Yeah.
into his mouth. Like, talk shit to me again. New guy.
Go.
Yeah, you tell her 11 Alpha. That's his message to you, baby.
I don't
Yeah,
need to
but
be told that.
You're the main host of a show.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
You
11
can
Alpha
tell
probably
her
had the
that.
same kind of dad as I had. That was my dad made me love this shit about weapons, armor. I grew up in that environment. I got to turn my fan on. It's getting warm in here for some reason. Oh, the
And
sun's
I need coffee.
on this side.
That sounds like a good idea.
Coffee.
That kind of goes. That last
something.
line kind of goes with death itself. Like you can be surrounded by people, you still die alone. So I think it's not the M51, but the M50. Which the big difference between the two, I think, is the chassis. Now, and this is another thing that's different in the special version. There's the Il Duce poster they go walking by. In this scene, the sniper scene's a little bit longer in the reconstruction. So you get
This one's
more of them
actually
dealing with
funny.
the sniper. I love it. He sends what's his name up there because he's talking shit to him. He says, "You're on
Bitch.
point."
No, he asks him, "Do you just need to ask to be transferred?" And he says, "I want to transfer," and he transfers him to on point.
You're on
And he's
point.
not happy with that.
And so when he finishes it, he says, "You did, basically you did such a good job. You're staying on point." You don't fuck with your sergeant, man.
Nope. Bad idea.
And there's those black and white posters all over the place too. And you would see them like in World War II. Those are the ones that are actually painted on the wall with a stencil. Yeah, and I love this scene because the German, the sergeant's about to confront the German, and the German has a grenade he's about to throw to him, and before he can, Lee throws his grenade at him, and he catches it and kills him. The German catches it, and then he sees Vinci is like standing there watching the whole time. He could have shot him. So I want to see how it went. That is such a military sense of humor.
They also seem like family.
Well, it's a fucked up dysfunctional family, but yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Brothers. There's another line in this film that still gets me to this day. He goes, one character says they're laying down sleeping. He goes, "Hey man, quit poking me in the back with your rifle." And he goes, "It ain't my rifle." And I'm like, holy
Those
shit,
aren't pillows. Yeah.
Those aren't pillows. Where's your other hand? Between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
God, that scene, yeah.
She enjoyed that movie. Anima did. She laughed her butt off at that.
Oh,
She
it's a
did,
great
yes.
And Bobby DeCicco, who plays Vinci in this, really good actor. He just sort of disappeared. He's one of those actors I thought would be around and do more movies. I don't know what happened to him.
Could do a whole show on actors we thought should have gone farther than they did.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it though when they discover that this career just isn't for them, and so they stop and go do something normal instead of keep doing it and fuck up their life.
Oh, this is the Bouncing Betty scene. Even though I don't think they were called Bouncing Betties in World War II. I can't remember what they were called. They were pop-up mines. Yep, there it goes off. And they go running up.
Yeah.
And I love it when he picks up, there it is. He goes, "Is that my dick?" And he goes, "No, it's just one of your testicles. You still got one."
You'll be fine. Yeah.
All he cares for at this point is that he still has his dick.
Right, exactly. That's what seriously, it scared a lot of guys. But what does he say? All these books about airplanes. Oh yeah. CB Colby? I remember those books. Yeah, they were in my dad's library. Absolutely. If it had anything to do with weapons, they were in the house. But I remember those 11 Alpha. That's probably a good idea. Shrapnel, spring, yeah.
Or
That's
surprise,
the-
motherfucker.
Surprise, motherfucker. Eat some fries, motherfucker. I got some pies, motherfucker. I love that video.
Lee Marvin. Every time I see him, I think of Cat Ballou, man. It's my favorite movie with him in it. Love it.
It was
The one he won
really amazing that Mark Hamill somehow got this role, because
Right?
really he's a terrible actor. He's just
He
must
got
have been-
his role because he was Luke Skywalker.
Skywalker. I know that.
That's all.
That or
He
he had
was
a
a
good
star
agent,
named-
one of the two.
Yeah, he was a star because of Star Wars, and they wanted to put him in this film. But I got to be honest, man, he acted
Bad
so
idea.
surprised and heartbroken when Tim Hulse got picked to play Amadeus Mozart for the movie Amadeus, when he'd been playing him on Broadway. And I'm like, they picked him because Tim Hulse can fucking act.
Can act. Thank you, sir. He's not just a face, okay?
Emoting is a thing.
People don't realize that Mark Hamill did a lot of stage. And
Yes.
he was in a production of Elephant Man before the film got made,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Amadeus.
And he was so pissed off because he had to interrupt a tour to film Empire.
Yep. Tough titty, said the kitty. I like to see where they're hiding in the cave, and these guys this one German comes walking in. And thanks to the noise outside, they can't hear them killing him. There's a lot of up close and personal combat in this movie.
Yeah.
And I know Fuller was decorated. He wasn't just a regular correspondent. He was a real fucking infantry guy.
He was Private Joker? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's a good connection. I like that.
Well, I mean, wasn't that what Joker was?
That's what he was. Yes, he's
he was dressed,
I'm a
yeah.
combat correspondent. When you eat the peanuts out of my
My
shit,
shit.
we can talk the talk. Can you walk the walk? I fucking love that movie. I love the
Yeah.
book, Short Timers. Great fucking novel. I read it years before the movie came out. I think I read that when I was 13.
Short Timers. What a great title. I mean, only people in the military would understand what that means. I remember when I was on the Presidio and I was fixing to get out. I had 2 months left. And these guys I was serving with were straight out of basic, and I was the only guy with movies, and they hadn't really been talking to me. I'd been hanging out at the MP barracks. You know, infantry guys, they don't like us, right? So the alpha dog of the
It's
bunch-
nothing personal, man. Really, it
Yeah, I
is.
know. I completely get it. But the alpha dog of the bunch, they're
You guys
fucking
roust us
beer.
all the time. That's all we
showing
see.
I'm showing them a movie, you know, because they have nothing. They just got a basic. The most they've got's a fucking radio, and I'd been in for 2.5 years already. I had a nice collection of movies and stuff. We're watching a movie. I said, now I understand I'm an MP, but you guys haven't given me the time of day after work, you know, because we were doing military funerals up and down the West Coast. That's what we did. Dress blues, 21 gun salute, folding the flag, folding the flag and everything. That's what we did every day. And the guy looked at me. He goes, "Well, Joe, we thought they sent you here to bust us. Half of us smoke dope." And I looked at him. I said, "Dude, I'm a double-digit midget. I am out of here. I'm a short timer." I said, "Keep it out of my room. I don't give a shit what you do." And they treated me like I was their best friend after that, because I, number one, had the movies, and number two, was the only guy with a car. So I took them down to Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco and all that shit. You know what I mean? We had a ball the last 2 months. But that first month, I spent almost entirely before I went to bed at the MP barracks after work because they didn't want to have nothing to do with me. They thought I was there to bust them. It's so funny. But yeah,
I'm going to go back because this is a great line here. Italian's got 20 patrols out looking, in the quadrant. And he goes, they think it's an SP, so why send us? And he says, where the hell are they? Being stuffed with mattress covers. And the guy, like, you don't know your geography well for a writer. We're in Italy. For some reason, I think he thinks they're still in North Africa.
No.
He thought Sicily isn't part of Italy.
Exactly.
Oh, is that what it was? I get it.
This is Sicily. They don't here they say I am Sicilian, not Italian.
Yeah.
Which at the moment was true.
It's still Italy though.
It's probably still that way. Sicilians are pretty serious.
It's an island,
people.
of course
Yeah.
it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's an island. They're weird.
I don't think Sicilians want to be known as Italian, right?
Yeah, those combat photographers, man, that were killed in combat. So a handful of times, man, took a photo of what was about to kill them. Ernie Pyle. That's a name that I'm hoping 11 Alpha knows. I don't know if you guys know who it is.
Don't know who
I
that
was
is.
surprised if you didn't.
That's not Private Pile, is it?
No,
What?
Private Pile, Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, Gomer Pyle.
Which my cousin was called
right.
Gomer. My cousin got the nickname because he volunteered to go to Vietnam. And so everybody in town started calling him Gomer. And even those of us in the family called him Gomer, cousin Gomer. But it's actually, his name is Larry. And I talked to him about a year ago. I love that guy. I got into an argument with my landlord one night at the Uptowner bar in Charleston. And he was trying to tell me something about the gas port on an M16. And I'm like, that's not how it works at all. You don't know what you're talking about. He goes, no, I know what I'm. And my cousin Gomer comes walking by, leans in and says, Bob, shut up. Gerry knows what he's talking about. You're full of shit. then just disappeared in the bar. I didn't see him for weeks after that. That was funny.
Dude, this kid, it was one of the best acting in the movie.
Yeah, he's great in the film. And I like this interaction between these two. Because, of course, Vinci's the only one that speaks Italian.
One of the advantages of speaking Latin.
Also, in the full film, the reconstruction film, you get a great line from a German, that Schroeder. He says, yeah, I almost got killed by a soldier with flowers in his helmet. Because this scene is where this leads to that scene where the girl puts flowers in the mesh on his helmet.
Yeah, I thought that was funny as hell. In World War II, we got a flower child.
And I love it because he puts it on and then they're like, doesn't
even think another thing about it.
The thing really makes you stick out. He goes, I like the way it smells.
Yeah. Because you guys smell like shit.
Well, the story of G.I. Joe is the film about Ernie Pyle. Yeah. And ironically, he was alive when they shot the film. And he was dead before it got released.
Really?
Because he served as the consultant for the film. And that was the movie that made Burgess Meredith's career. Yeah, he survived Europe, man. He got killed in Japan. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alpha. I think he died at Iwo Jima after most of the combat had been done. I seem to remember reading that. I love this old, ruins. This is a village. It looks like ruins, but it's a village. And they had to use real locations because they couldn't afford to build sets. The only one of the few sets they built was the interior for the ship. And that one always bugs me because there's no movement. And you and I both know what being on a ship feels like.
Oh yeah, there's movement, all right.
Yeah. I grew up on boats, man. I could not believe I got seasick. I got seasick like 3 times. Fucking ocean, man. Oh, it was Okinawa. Okay. Thanks, Alpha. Now, Lee knows how to fucking aim.
Yes.
Hold that weapon. And I also love the ironic scene where they happen upon that same crucifix where he killed a German in World War One. And he goes, "Hey man, they've got. How can they have the names of the guys that have been killed? The battle just happened." He goes, "That's from World War One. That's the memorial for the Big Red One."
Pretty cool.
Yeah, here's the scene. I love this.
Trying to think if they've ever made other movies that are about the history, over time of a certain unit like this. About the only one that comes to mind is We Were Soldiers, the story of the first air cav.
Yeah,
but
it
I'd
got
like to see
broken
more
up with
stuff like that.
Pacific.
Mhm.
They kind of tried to do the same thing with Thin Red Line, but I don't know. I mean, he was there for one thing. He was there for Pearl Harbor, the author, and he would write his books from his army experience, but his army experience there on I just forgot the name of it, Guadalcanal, was after the Marines had already pretty much cleaned it up. The army was brought in to hold it, but they make it into this thing where there's all this combat happening, and it's like there was combat, but no, the Marines are the ones who were in the fucking shit there.
Yeah,
in Guadalcanal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the nickname for Marines is called Gyrenes, which I've never understood where that came from.
I've never used that one, and I never understood that.
Here it is.
I really didn't.
Well, I've never understood. I knew where it came from, Guadalcanal, but I never understood the meaning behind it. My dad didn't know either. And that's one of the few things I think I ever asked my dad. He didn't know. This is the helmet scene. I love this scene.
Yep. Doesn't even think twice about it. Puts it on. Ready to roll.
That's right.
Probably thinks it's good luck, right?
He was his commanding officer, as they're called in the film. That was it. That's another one. Thank you to Helen Beck, the Audie Murphy story.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a studio film. Audie had all kinds of problems with that movie.
Sure he did.
He was playing himself. That's what it started.
Yeah.
Because he was already an actor doing westerns and shit.
Yeah, but he was uncomfortable playing himself. They had to convince him to do that.
This is where you get hit some of the new guys stuff. Because they don't want to be friendly and talk to new guys. That started with that whole scene with the mine that goes off and takes off the guy's testicle. And they pretty much stick to themselves, only get friendly with guys that's been around for a while.
Gerry, could you please take a look to your messenger?
My messenger?
Yes. Do it now.
Oh, they're having secrets.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, the Facebook Messenger.
Nothing. It's open
the
right now.
pages or Gary's personal one?
Personal one.
Okay.
I've got it open. I'm not showing anything. What am I supposed to be seeing?
Oh well.
Did you hit
Doesn't
send?
matter.
I'll show you.
Don't worry. Don't worry. We can
You
talk
can
I'm going
about
to show
send it to
you
me too.
after. We can do it after the show.
just to show you. I'm not fooling you.
Jeez.
There's no new message.
That's PCM. You know.
There's no new messages in here. You get a blue dot if
any
there's
of
a new
them.
message. I have nothing new. I don't know what's going on.
And there you go.
Yeah, this is his attempt to doing the D-Day invasion. He did his best. Got that one ship out there.
Mm-hmm. I do have to say, some of the stuff he shot, like the Bangalore scene when they landed in Sicily, I thought that was shot really well because you could tell
This is the
it was
Bangalore
on
scene.
an indie budget. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the
I thought it
Bangalore
was pretty
scene.
neat. Yeah. They did
This is the Bangalore scene. This is where he
good. Is
starts
it? This is
sending
the
them
one
up
I'm on?
one by
Okay.
one.
I
Yeah.
thought that was in Sicily. They make so many beach landings in this movie. It's not even funny, but yeah, I thought they did a good job with this. You could tell it was supposed to be a wider scope, you know. But to your point,
But the way
earlier,
he kept
shoots
it,
everything close, and yeah,
he shoots medium to close up.
Yeah.
Very few wide shots.
No.
I love how it keeps going back to this dead guy's watch.
Right,
showing the
and it's
transition
showing you
of
the
time.
passage of time during the battle. Yeah, that was pretty neat. And the water keeps getting bloodier as they show it. Right, that
Yep.
was pretty neat. Yeah.
Very little fire. I like that. I prefer that they don't Hollywood up the explosions.
That annoys me when they do that.
I don't know.
What?
Can she hear me? Because it's like she's talking back to me.
She can't. I'm wearing a headset. I'm sorry, guys. I
No,
gave
that's
her
fine.
I
I'm
was
surprised you're not
hoping
hearing
she'd
my-
be asleep.
I'm surprised
There
you're
you
not
go.
hearing
There-
my cat.
This is where they're talking about assembling the Bangalore mines.
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys aren't hearing my cat. He seems to think that we control the weather around here. So whenever it rains or gets cold, he comes shooting in the door, bitching, like, turn the heat up out there. I can't hunt with the heat up.
Well, she was
Ow.
bitching at me yesterday because her grass that I grow in the plants by my tomato basil used to be. I still have her grass in there and it's covered in ice because we had icy rain yesterday.
Yeah.
She was trying to eat it and she wasn't happy.
I don't know if I know how to do that. I've done it once before.
Do what?
What Martin asked. I finally got the message.
He finally got the message. Gary, I have a question for you, and this is always I just don't know what these things are there for. Every time they show these amphibious Normandy D-Day things, you've got the crossed steel railroad ties out there.
Barriers.
Now,
yeah.
right.
Barriers.
I have to imagine they're to keep vehicles from moving forward, but are they also range finders for the gunners and stuff on the mounted?
I doubt it.
The fixed
They're
positions?
just barriers.
Okay, they're just to keep vehicles from getting through, right?
Anti-personnel too.
Okay,
Make it harder for them. They want to create funnels.
yeah,
Marvin's
I got-
the John Borman documentary about
I
it. Oh
thought
hell
maybe
yes,
they-
Tom. I have absolutely seen that documentary. It's one of my favorite biographies ever done. It's the
I
one
didn't
about
know
Lee
that
Marvin.
existed. I'm gonna have to check that out.
When he tells
Yeah.
that story about the airport and that full bird colonel comes up there with the clusters on his hat and his XO walks up to him and says, "Sir, the colonel would love to thank you." And he goes over when the officer steps up, he grabs his fucking hat away from him. Lee Marvin does. he just starts chewing on those scrambled eggs on the bill of his helmet, his dress hat. Nom, 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 nom. And then puts it on his head and drops it down and sits back to take a nap. And flustered, the officer walks away. It's in an airport. And about 5 minutes later, his XO assistant, whatever the fuck you call them, I forget their names, comes walking in with, "Sir, the colonel's embarrassed to ask, but could he please have his hat back?" And he gave it to him. He hated officers.
I think they're called adjutants, man. I think.
Adjutant, that's the word.
Yeah.
And so he fucking had that officer just completely baffled and befuddled. And it was hilarious. And he sent the adjutant over to get the hat back from him. It was funny as hell. And Borman told that story. I love Lee Marvin. He was a broken man in private life. The war did damage to him. But hell of an actor, gave us some great movies.
Oh, come on. Lee Marvin's awesome. Love him. And he did so many different kinds of movies, man.
You guys talk
comedies,
for
he did
minutes. I got to
action
figure out how to do
movies.
this.
Yeah. He did so many different things, man.
I'm trying to remember. Have I ever seen him in a movie where he didn't play a military guy? I don't think I have.
Watch Cat Ballou, the one he won his Academy Award for. He plays twin brother gunfighters in it, and one of them's a drunk, and he's awesome in that movie. He's fantastic. A lot of people won't watch that one because Hanoi Jane's in it before Vietnam had kicked up, when she was just the gorgeous daughter of Peter Fonda. Is it Nat King Cole that does the singing, the narration? I think it is. And then you've got Lee Marvin, a few. You'll recognize half of the people in that movie from old Hollywood, and it is just one of the funniest things you'll ever see. Even the horse is drunk in that movie. It's great. It's so freaking funny. It's really good. Check that movie out sometime, Anima. You'll laugh your butt off. It's an old.
It does sound good.
It's an old school comedy western. Not like Mel Brooks though. It's situation and character driven, and it's really, really good.
Okay.
It's my favorite Lee Marvin movie, and I know he's known more for his movies and military movies, but man, like I said, he won an Academy Award for that one, and he was.
What's the name again?
Character. Cat Ballou, CAT, and then the other word is BALOU, I think. Hang on, I'll look it up real quick.
No, don't you go too. It's bad enough that Martinez Gerry do shit.
No. I can multitask. I can talk when I'm looking things up, though.
So, okay, good.
I'm doing it on my phone. Yeah.
You're a woman, in other words.
Oh!
What? Thanks a
You're
lot.
Oh!
I'm trying to give you a recommendation here. No, it's two L's. It's two L's. BALLOU. Yeah, it's Nat King Cole and Stubby K. They sing the narrative of it. They tell the story through singing with banjos. Yeah, it's a really good movie.
Well,
If I did these movie-driven shows like Pop Culture Minefield does, that would be one of the first ones I would do. Is Cat Ballou. I adore that movie, man. It's old school Hollywood movie
With banjos,
with banjos,
but
and
not
guns.
dueling.
Yep.
What, a western without a duel?
No, dueling banjos.
Oh.
Dueling banjos. They're not dueling. They're working together to tell the narrative. They sing the story, But they're, how the Carradine brother in this movie is telling the story. He's narrating it. They narrate it through song, and it's really cool. It's a good movie.
Isn't that called a musical?
No. The entire cast does not sing. No, they're narrating it with song. Yeah,
they're singing.
That's the scene where he tells the guy reading, "That's my book," and he's like, "No, I found it." And he corrects, "No, I wrote it. That is my book."
Okay, Joe. They are narrating to music, so they are rapping. Therefore, it is a musical.
Okay, whatever. Watch the movie and you understand what I'm saying. None of the other characters,
Glenn.
they're not even characters in the story. They just happen to be in town telling the story. That's all.
Now we have France and England in the chat.
Yes, because in the panel we have Germany.
Nice.
Fuck off, Martin.
Yeah.
Just fuck off.
Oh no. The Germans. Oh no.
Ah.
Gerry leave us forever?
Yeah, no, he's doing something important in the back. Now, Anima, maybe because you saw the movie recently, maybe you have a better retentive, but the commanding officer here for the Germans, that's Schrödinger, right?
I think so.
Because I couldn't recognize him. You know, old man and shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I watched it yesterday, but it is so long.
Yeah. The
I
version
totally
we watched.
understand the need to cut this down because 3 hours is just too long. And then when towards the end you don't remember how it started because it feels like you spent 3 weeks watching this. For 3 hours.
Well,
Yeah, the
it's the
version-
same cross at the beginning when the movie's in black and white.
Yeah.
The version
I
I
know
watched
that.
was only 2 hours long, so
Yeah, that's the one that I watched too.
You didn't do your homework.
apparently
Nobody
not.
told me.
Apparently I didn't
Nobody
get the
told-
memo.
Nobody told me there was a director cut because if I knew, I would have looking for that like a madman. I love the director's cut.
See, I don't. I'd rather watch the movie the way I watched it the first time I saw it.
Gary
No, I-
insists on having told you that we do the long cut, but
No, not me.
whatever.
Maybe
Yeah.
with was another person, but it wasn't me. Now I like having both cuts always.
It seems to have been
In-
such an ordeal to get this one back. You really had to go and look for the shit.
Yeah, it sounds like somebody was a big fan of the guy's work and just really it was a project of passion for him that they dug up everything and put it back together, huh?
Mhm. That tends to happen.
Yeah. Isn't there an extended cut of the Blade Runner movie too? I mean, a lot of these movies have.
Yeah, but no, not made by fans.
Mhm.
In fact, I think there used to be 7 cuts of Blade Runner,
What?
and now
Holy
yeah,
shit.
and now I think they are on 8 or 9.
Wow.
What the hell?
Yep.
Wow.
Why?
Oh well.
To keep confusing you? Is he or isn't
Yeah.
he? Damn it!
Of course he is.
Like, I need to be extra confused.
Oh man.
Are you
Now
not writing a list, Martin?
here's
What?
another.
The names. Glenn, Mike just showed up.
Oh, Mike. Well, I was talking to you, so I stopped looking at the chat.
What's up?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, Mike.
Hey,
I'm sorry
Mike.
Martin ignored you. I'm sorry.
Check him out.
Sorry.
The Comic Relief Crusader. Here's another question that I just have always wondered. Why did they wear spats? What is the point of the canvas lace-ups that they have over their boots? Covering their ankles and going up
No.
halfway up their
idea.
calf. That's what I'm wondering. I don't know what that's for. But you see those all the time in World War II movies. Guys wearing spats. I think that's what they're called. Isn't that what they're called, Martin?
I don't know. I speak very poor English, so I wouldn't know.
Let me see if I can find anything on the intranets that tells us this. Let's see.
Let's learn something.
Let's learn something while we're waiting for the commander-in-chief to get back. Let's see. WW2.
I hope he gets back.
He will. He's just muted. He's checking things out.
Yeah, but I don't know what
Spat
he's
footwear. Spats, a shortening of spatter dashes or spatter guards, are a type of footwear accessory for outdoor wear covering the instep and the ankle. Spats are distinct from gaiters, which are garments worn over the lower trousers and legs as well as the shoe. What doesn't tell us what it's for, though.
No, doesn't tell us what it's doing. I'm cool.
Yeah.
Pretending to be informative and then not giving info.
Just says it protects the lower leg to keep dirt, sand, and mud from entering their shoes from the top. That makes sense. Okay, yeah, because it covers the top of the boot.
Preventing
Okay.
trench coats.
Whoa.
Is that what it is?
That
Big
makes sense.
congratulations to all of our Canadian audience, because we have here Mike telling
That's
us
good news.
the guy resigned. Bye-bye. Good riddance.
Au revoir.
Please allow the door to smack your butt at the
Oh.
when you're exiting.
Do you have a personal grudge against him?
I have serious problem with all tyrants.
Oh.
Okay. Gators, not gators. For the non-speaking.
Guys, I gotta go. I got a work thing. You guys take care of yourself, and I will see you next time.
Oh,
Oh,
see you.
that sounds cool with Gerry gone.
All right,
Well,
I got it
Mike,
done.
celebrated.
So, Gerry,
you're
we
back.
have good news from Mike. Oops.
Yeah, we heard it was going to happen today. Just absolutely fantastic. But there's still a bunch of them that work for your parliament or whatever you call it. I love this scene, using the bandolier of ammo to stirrups.
Oh yeah.
Say.
Well, he eventually learns that that's the word. He uses a different word first. And even the sergeant slips once and says pussy.
And did you see what he's using on his fingers as surgical gloves? They're condoms.
Yeah. Why would they have condoms still when they were being fed shit so they can't get a boner?
You always had I told you, when you're going to be introduced to water, you had condoms around for your weapon.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Sorry. That scene was weird. What, they have that girl?
I think France is what, Macron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both positions? Good. Now throw him in jail.
There's that statue.
Yep.
There's the monolith from 2001: A Space Odyssey. And there's Schroeder, only survivor from his team.
So he was him, right?
Yeah. He's the only other main character in the you don't get so much about him in the theatrical version. You get more of him in the reconstruction. So he has a story, an ongoing story. That's right. Condoms for your weapon, condoms for your rifle. This is my weapon. This is my gun. This is for killing. This is for fun. I remember I pissed off old one of my sergeants. I annoyed him. It's not like he's pissed off at me, because I would always like challenge him in the funniest ways. You know, he got after somebody for saying gun, and I said, "So, we can't say machine gun anymore, or you're not going to punish me for saying it, right?" It's an actual question, and he just looked at me. We can't use the word handgun either. This scene's crazy, man. All these Germans sitting around there enjoying themselves around a mental hospital. And she's pretending she's part of the French resistance.
That was one of the moments when the movie is just so confusing.
Well, it's more confusing in the theatrical version. You get more narrative because she is clearly part of the underground, hiding in this hospital. Once again, up close and personal killings.
And quick.
If anybody would know it in this movie, Lee Marvin would know what that's like.
Yes, I think the intelligence about this woman is that she's an assassin. So her expertise is this, killing,
slicing their throats.
Yahtzees.
Are good at that, cutting their throats. That is, I've been trying to find a good copy of that Lee Marvin, John Borman biography documentary. I can't find a decent copy of it. I love that documentary because Borman really knew Lee Marvin. He was in his life, and he had some of the best stories. But he was he had to fight demons, man.
Yeah, but he always looked old.
He did. As I joked earlier, it looked like he's in his 50s when he's in his 20s. He prematurely grayed.
It's not just the gray, though. It's his face.
And he'd been around for over a decade by the time he did Cat Ballou.
Is this where the retarded guy still keeps eating and laughing until he's being shot?
Yeah. I'll tell you this, Fuller, who directed the film, wrote and directed it, said that of Marvin was the carpenter of death, the sergeants of this world who have been dealing death to young men for 10,000 years are all wrapped up in this guy. And I know that Matthew Carey Salyer complimented Marvin in his review, saying that it is one of Lee Marvin's most brilliant performances of his career. And oddly, he comments on his restraint as a character, because he restrains himself as a character in this film.
How so?
Watch his character. He's always very restrained. You never see him lose his shit.
He's already been through World War One. Of course, he's
an old war dog.
It's almost as if he doesn't know to do anything else with his life than be in combat and be
absolutely. That, you know, one of the things that we learned, especially from the Second Gulf War, is they would show before and after photos of guys that were only a couple of years older to 4 years older after combat, and they looked 20 years older. The lines on their faces. Also, so many guys that were in intense combat get what's referred to as the 10,000 yard or 1,000 yard stare.
It's spooky. I've seen photos like that.
Yeah, I did that painting for Dale Dye's book cover, Between the Raindrops, about his Vietnam experience. And on the cover, he loves that painting. I painted a guy based off of another dude that actually had the 1,000 yard stare. And there's a photo taken of this guy, and just the look on his face and just the slackness. And there's just something when you look at the photo, it's different than seeing somebody relaxed. This is somebody who's just seen too fucking much.
It's like looking at a house where nobody's home.
So for Canada, I will sing this song badly. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch is dead. Witch, oh witch, wicked witch. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. There you go. Merry fucking Christmas. Christmas is later in Canada. They don't understand Jesus.
My God.
And we just lost the rest of our audience. The ones that survived your singing have left now.
Oh my God. Oh wait, what did it say?
There you go.
That looked great. Even after all that combat was Audie Murphy really had it bad though. I remember because he was still alive when I was a kid, and my dad said that he had just had an incident that took place where he just went down an alleyway completely lost with a 45 just shooting. He was just lost in the war.
Holy shit.
It got rough for him towards the end. He died young too. But he didn't die. I think he was killed in an airplane crash. But he did die young. But he had all kinds of problems. He's the one who started the what is it called? The Audie Murphy's Brotherhood of the Purple Heart or something like that. Don's in it. Don Ecker. Don Ecker earned that Purple Heart. Yeah, you don't win, you're awarded. You don't win awards in the military. It really bugs me when they win.
You get it for being wounded. I wouldn't call it a win when you have your ass shot off.
This is the most heartbreaking moment in the film for me, is when the new guy, who's actually been around for a while, but he looks like a pup the whole movie, and he's laying there dying, and he just says, did I kill the guy that killed me? So you got him.
That was heartbreaking. Yeah, I agree. Doesn't he even say good before he dies?
Yeah. Yeah, there it is. That killed me. That killed the guy that killed me. Audie Murphy looked like a kid until he was like in his 50s.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it one of his concerns that he was too old to play himself in a movie? But he looked.
He thought so, but he looks like a fucking kid.
Babyface. He absolutely pulled that.
Yeah,
off.
this is where the guy dies of a heart attack. As the Germans are going by. That's sad, man.
That's too young. I think Emmanuel liked your singing. She might be lying, though.
He is being facetious. He likes my music, though. I've always complained about that, Emmanuel. It's like God gave me the gift of songwriting and no voice. My daughter can sing. She doesn't want to. It always frustrates me. I'm like, if I had that gift, man, I'd have put out more music. Because the 10 years I took off of writing music was because I was writing more complicated songs that I couldn't sing. I can only do these. It's borderline spoken word. Very Leonard Cohen. Yeah, I do. I love this scene. Yeah, you get your quiet moments, your fun moments in between shit. By the way, Emmanuel, I thought they had already approved my music. It's not approved yet by CD Baby. They're my distributor. I'm still in the process. I went back up there. I'm like, I thought you released it because I got a notification.
It's been a
But the
week.
notification, yeah, they said it could take up to 2 weeks.
We'll see what goes faster, Boundless or your album.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wonder because, like, my grandpa died before he was 70. So did my Uncle Lon. And my dad died at 75. I'm kind of hoping that I throw a few more years in to make the Cassells live just a little longer. Each generation. I do love that lady because she comes back. It's later, right? When she shoots the infiltrator. When they're sitting at the table. Is it? Don't we come back to her house? She's the one who shoots him because she catches the guy the way he was eating the steak and eggs when they come back for food.
Oh, that may be on the.
Oh yeah, it's in the reconstruction cut. It's a great scene, great fucking scene. She walks up behind him and shoots him in the back of the head while they're all sitting at the table eating.
So it would be like the 3 finger scenes in Eagle's Nest.
It's what it is he doesn't eat like an American. We have a very specific way we eat steak. He's eating it differently. And she catches it. Amazing to think that I'm older than my dad. Yeah. Very William Shatner. Yeah, Shatner did the spoken word Rocket Man. Rocket Man burning up his fuse up here alone. Now, the thing that trips me out here is when he goes in there, there's smoke coming out of this stack, but none of those ovens are going. So somebody fucked up in this scene. I don't know if it was Fuller or what, but that's smoke pouring out of that stack there. But when he goes into the room underneath the stack where all the ovens are, none of those ovens are going. He follows that German. The German has the audacity. Because I don't know if this really happened. This could be just Fuller doing his job as a writer, that this German would have the audacity to hide in one of the ovens that they were killing the Jews in. And this is the only moment in film where Mark Hamill seems to do any acting.
Oh, don't get me
Saying your
started.
lines isn't acting.
No. He only has one facial expression too. And he does not know how to pull a trigger.
Yeah, he does not know how to
Looks
fire
like a
weapon.
kid playing cowboy. It's embarrassing.
And that's an editing thing, but he really has a almost infinite clip for a Gaddon.
Well, they do. You hear the spring.
One.
I think it's twice. You hear it.
I only heard it once after like 16 shots or something.
I thought I heard it in between. I'll have to go back and watch it. I'll go back and I'll confirm.
For a moment, like, he makes that kind of expression, and then for a second it looks like he's laughing, and for a moment I thought, oh my god, he went crazy.
I'm going to go open it now.
here's when Lee hears the shots and say, "What's the matter? What's happening here?"
Hiding in a fucking oven. I mean,
See, I have both versions of the movie on my hard drive. I have the almost 3 gigabyte size movie, which is the 2 hours and 42 minutes.
yeah, every time we prepare to watch a movie and Gary tells me, "Oh, you want to speed this up," I'm like, "Oh, that's going to be long."
She watched Nosferatu with me yesterday, the new movie.
I somehow managed to, yeah, that was pushing my limits.
Two
She had
of
to
my
tune out a
daughters
lot.
watched it yesterday.
Yeah. That is
I may
exactly the form of horror that I'm not good with. This is not for me. I don't
I
enjoy
may
it.
be able to watch it today. I'm hoping I have the time.
Okay, I'm watching the scene right now. I'm going to see if, and once again, I'm watching the reconstructed cut. It's longer, harder, and uncut.
Ooh.
Oh my god. Phrasing.
Yeah, I like that, Glenn. The force is strong with him. And the other thing that bugs me about this scene is he opens the oven, and he sees all the skulls and bones.
They had no idea how horrible these camps were until actually
Well,
being there.
it wasn't seeing that impacted him the hardest. It's seeing these walking skeletons and the smell. And
Probably the hardest part
there
was
were
to not give them the food that they wanted,
at
because that would
one
have
camp, I think Alpha was at Buchenwald, where American soldiers executed all the guards, killed them all.
wow. I mean, I
think there were
understand.
506 executions on the battlefield when they went into those camps. And he would be totally dead if that German's weapon had fired, because the German keeps squeezing.
That was
and it's
Dachau, Gerry. That was Dachau.
Dachau?
Yeah.
Yeah, Alpha is confirming.
I think it is Dachau. Yeah, it's
I just looked it up. It is.
2. E.
If you ask Google about execution of concentration camp guards, Dachau is the first thing that comes up.
It's a far away when he fires those 6 shots. And then he starts shooting again. I think that's why you don't hear it. Because he's firing at a distance for a lot of it. So I think he did 1 reload. Let's go. Next shot. Oh, no, that's 1 too many. 2 too many. 3 too many. There. Finally, it sprung. I think it's just in the editing.
Yes, it's edited.
He hands him another clip. He goes, I think you got him. But he keeps shooting. This scene always tears me up, the little kid just looking at him. Kid's clock was winding down, and he got to spend his last minutes of life with this man. And it just breaks your heart.
That confused me too, that kid.
Yeah, she didn't
What?
understand. I was like, yeah, he was dying when he met him.
Yep.
This is going to happen whether he's there or not.
I thought he was just not talking because he's too traumatized or whatever, and then
No, he just collapses right there. That's it. He's gone. I just got a 5 gigabyte copy of that film. It's huge. Mark Sinner got me a copy. I haven't seen that movie in years, and it's really good. Intense, but good. Gene Hackman and Lee Marvin. One of my favorite Lee Marvin films is a movie he did with Paul Newman. What was that movie called? Oh my God, I just forgot the name of it. I also love Death Hunt, by the way.
Joe suggested that we watch a movie with Lee Marvin that's called Cat Ballou.
I love Cat Ballou. I haven't done it because I hate Jane Fonda, but we should do it because he deserved that Oscar. And he said half this Oscar, when he accepted it, Anima, he got up there and he says, half this Oscar belongs to a horse.
Oh my God.
Because the horse was just so fucking good in that movie. They didn't even know he could cross his legs. That was like, it just happened. And they got it on camera. A horse crossing his front legs like he's drunk, leaning against the wall. They got the horse to do it.
Well, that's something that you learn. What's the English word for it? When you train on horses, that's one of the tricks they do.
Jane Fonda speaks highly of you, Gerry.
And nobody
She would not. She would hate my guts. I dare to be conservative and dare to be a veteran.
So in her books, you're a bad guy.
But hey, when it was the only thing available, I spanked it to her workout videos.
Oh my God. I didn't want to know that.
Graphic?
Man, that's the kind of humor I have. It's the kind of fucked up shit I say.
I'm in trouble.
I got to tell you, Tom, I absolutely would love to do that movie on here. And we only do the classic movies either on Military Monday or on Friday. Yeah, she likes NVA and VC veterans. That's right. Oh, fuck that bitch. Fuck her and the horse she rode in on. Great fucking movie, the big red one. And Lee, this was a good part for him. And I always looked at the war films he did, the real ones, as films to help exercise his demons. And towards the end, before he died, he was able to stabilize a little bit with his wife. It breaks my heart, that he, ended up passing away the way he did. He was a heavy smoker, heavy drinker, and he suffered from health problems for years. And he died in, 86. I remember he got hospitalized. I remember the news that he'd been putting in hospital. And I think it was one of the ones in LA, but I'm not sure. He lived in the desert. He had a house in the desert. And, but he got a fungal infection. And he went into respiratory distress. And once again, because he was a heavy smoker.
Yeah,
and
they gave him died from cancer.
And they gave him steroids. And I guarantee you, I know that they probably gave him a blood thinner. And his bowels and intestines, he had a huge bleed out. Yeah. What almost killed my dad. I told you that story.
Yeah.
And someone wasn't doing their job checking for rigidity in the abdomen. And he fucking bled out internally.
Horrible way to go.
He technically he died of a heart attack. he had a heart attack. But that's because so much stress was being put on him because he lost so much blood. And I beg I would love to see his medical records, because I would say he probably died of cardiac arrest, not a heart attack. They're two different things. In a heart attack, part of your heart dies because something went wrong. I think that he was hypovolemic.
That would make sense.
But yeah, if you watch that, Tom, you brought up that documentary. Was it? Yeah, he died. I thought he died in '86, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, you just don't drink and smoke like that and expect to have a long life. But look, if you have never seen Big Red 1, go watch this movie. It really is a great film. And it really is, in my opinion, one of Lee Marvin's best performances. I think, and it's sad because I know that the director wanted to make this movie in '59. He'd had this story floating around since the 50s. And I'm going to look again because I'm not sure which movie it was that he ended up doing. Let me go look real quick. Because he shot, it was meant to be a practice run to making this film. Let me go look real quick.
Practice run. I didn't know you do that
Yeah.
in the movie.
Merrill's Marauders. That was it. Merrill's Marauders was a Sam Fuller film, and it was meant to be a test run. But he ended up having problems with Warner Brothers, and they fucking fired him off of the film. And they released the film, did their version of it, and he was not happy with it and had a terrible taste in his mouth from working with Warner Brothers. And it would take all the way up until '78 for Bogdanovich, who's a great writer-director himself, to push. I mean, he did, what's that movie that takes place in Texas? What's that fucking guy's? Fuck, what is that movie called? Not Texasville. God damn it. Fuck, I hate it when I forget the name of a movie. Oscar-winning film.
Keep talking. It'll come back. It always does.
I have a deep drawer, but a slow retrieval system now that I'm getting older.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Last Picture Show. Because he did Texasville later. It was a sequel to the Larry McMurtry's novel. McMurtry is still being used. A lot of people don't know how long that guy's been around. You know who he is, right, guys?
No?
So, McMurtry, let me look it up real quick. Hold on, give me a sec. Terms of Endearment, The Horseman, The Last Picture Show, Lonesome Dove series. That's all McMurtry. He did Quigley Down Under. McMurtry. Is Joe here?
No,
No?
Joe had to leave.
I'm not looking at the screen, so I didn't see him leave. Well, I'm sad.
He had a work thing. He left just when you came back.
Well, I didn't get to say bye to him. Oh, well.
That'll teach you to
Oh.
go off and learn stuff.
I have the longest dick, 6 feet, medical condition. That's a
What
drag.
nickname? Yeah, we need a nickname for you anyway. With the name
Martin like that one. That's a drag.
Oh my God.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Oh my God.
That reminds you of that joke that came out when I was a kid. He says, hey, that looks like pee or poop. He just touches it, feels like poop. Ooh, smells like poop. Tastes like poop. Ooh, be careful, don't step in it. You remember that joke? That joke is like old.
Hey, Joe is back.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Sorry,
made me
guys.
sad I didn't get to say bye to you.
Oh man, I had to run out. I was checking my text messages for the first time this morning, and it turns out I had the van keys for the house, so I had to run them the keys.
Well, let me run this little video.
By what name are you known?
There are some who call me Tim.
That's why I'm not in the robe anymore. I've got my jacket on and everything. So.
Yeah,
Good to
it's
see
good
you,
to see you
Tim.
dressed for Military Monday.
Hey, you know, the one time I was dressed after I wore a robe, Gerry got on me, wanted to know where the robe was. So that's why I wear it now.
Oh, I was teasing you. I
by the
wasn't
way-
getting on you.
By the
Just
way,
thought it
with
was
that
funny.
jacket, the hat, and the long hair, you look like Billy Connolly.
Really?
You do.
Okay.
It's true. Yeah. So here you go. This is for Tim too. There you go.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yes. By the way, I was checking the news too. Did you guys see come across your feed?
Yeah,
Trudeau's
yeah.
gonna resign.
He has
No, he
a
already did.
shed.
He already did. Mike popped in to
Unbelievable.
let us know it already happened.
Wow. Wow.
I didn't know you were gone because I wasn't looking at the screen. I got to tell you what, with Trudeau stepping down, that's a good fucking Happy New Year right there, my friend.
That's
I am so.
I mean, you
It's a
were
step
talking
in the
about
right
earlier in the
direction for Canada.
show. Maybe it's a
Yep.
trend going along on globally. Maybe everybody's getting sick of it, you know?
I hope so.
Hey.
Fort Dix is here, and Jason Cumnut. I busted
But I will
a nut
caution
right
people. I will caution people. Look, we're getting a lot of victories, but still hold their feet to the fire and make sure they're
there.
going
Big
to
fight
do.
because they're still in there. They're still
Yep.
embedded. Yeah,
Mhm.
we have leftist, fascist, communist infiltrators in our governments, and we have it at every level.
And
Every
not
level.
to mention that it would be nice if the right stopped fighting or infighting.
Because you know that Soros has announced that he was pushing. He's already been doing it, infiltrating at the lowest levels, not the highest levels. He already got the highest levels. Now he's aiming for the lowest levels in law enforcement. That includes intelligence as well as FBI and your local law enforcement. He's trying to, but they've already done it over in the UK. When you see these videos of these fucking DEI hires out there arresting people for bad memes and shit. I'm telling you, man, they've got their hooks in there. This is fighting. It's fighting time. You better fight for your fucking liberty and your freedom.
Be vigilant.
Hey,
no
Jacob,
doubt.
how you doing, buddy? We don't have enough snow. It's mostly ice and then a layer of snow on top of it. But I saw some people in the region got like inches of snow.
Now, the correct answer there is yes, but I can't. Nobody got that.
Non-competent folk,
Okay.
the status quo until April. Think of this as a football game with 90 seconds left on the board, and each side has 3 timeouts. Yeah, we're not done with the buck.
Bullshit.
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 Bullshit. Pronounce it
I
correctly.
got to tell you,
Bullshit.
Mikey, you need to get spell check. Add it to your fucking computer. On your
Stop
thing.
typing with your ass.
It'll
Use your
yeah.
fingers.
Yeah. Stop doing one-handed typing.
We have another new viewer. I don't know how you're gonna take this, but
Oh my god. And Penny apparently
Oh,
knows that.
Badge in the trap.
It looks like Penny knows
Hey.
that.
Aren't they all? Aren't they all? I love you, baby. Don't break up with me. I love you.
Be nice, mister.
House of Commons. That's what you have up there, not Parliament. House of Commons.
Right. It's the House of Commons. Yep.
You know what we need to bring back, Mike? Fist fights. They do it in Japan.
They do it in Japan all the time, man.
We should do it
They're
here.
unchained out
Like,
there.
I mean, we had a guy that got beat to death in the house back in the 1800s. Do you know that? For the Civil War?
Wow, that's not surprising.
Fucking beat to death in the house. And even if Schultz, Starmer, and Macron are out this year too, things won't really improve in Western Europe. No, here's part of the problem. And I was telling Anima, this is why she's like, I don't see any of that in the news. I said, you're not going to, because European gets its feed through the same news agencies that CNN and MSNBC get their news. And that's George Soros. George Soros owns all of those. So Europe, even though he was kicked out of Europe and he can't come back, he owns all the news. You like that one?
Nice.
That's my pistol hand.
Look out, you get flagged for that in the NFL.
What's this? Almost what? I'm always Gerry, not almost Gerry. I've never been an almost Gerry. I'm always a Gerry. 100% USDA prime choice, dickhead.
100%.
See,
So you guys finished the movie already? Thumbs up.
you hope he doesn't get a second ear piercing. That's a good way of saying it. I got to tell you,
just
man,
found out,
he
Gerry,
is hiring
about
his
the
own
movie.
security.
Something out about the movie. Sam Fuller put them through a mini boot camp, like the same shit that Dale Dye does. And Marvin was the drill instructor, and he went down on these guys. So I guess
I
with
told
Mark
you.
Hamill, he must have.
Phrasing.
Right.
You can say got down on these guys. You can't say went down on these guys, and because that has
Whatever.
connotations.
Jesus Christ.
Just saying, you
You know
baby.
what I mean?
Just saying.
I guess he gave up on Mark Hamill because he didn't know how to squeeze the trigger or pull the trigger.
Jesus, that scene, and I don't know if it's in the theatrical cut. That
Oh,
scene
he
where
was
he's
absent
just
for the
fucking
boot camp.
firing.
Yeah.
He's like jerking that fucking weapon with his trigger
Yeah.
finger, and I'm like, oh my god. I was watching one of my favorite channels, and this guy was a weapons specialist going into classic movies famous for a lot of gunfights, and he just dug into one of my favorite actors of all time, Mel Gibson, with Lethal Weapon. He goes, worst trigger discipline ever when he's at the target range in the first Lethal Weapon, because he is fanning the shit out of that trigger with his trigger finger. It's like, that guy does not know how to shoot a weapon. Yeah. I told you what I said to Sergeant that was quizzing me when I joined the military. I want to have my own stripes moment, and I didn't want to repeat what Bill Murray did. So when I got that question, have you been, or are you now, or have you ever been a homosexual? I said, no, but is this required training? I'll do whatever my country says I need to do. Over here, all politicians are idiots. We can't do worse or better for that. That's the problem with Europe right now. Europe is completely, you have a European Union, which is terrible. That's why Britain broke Brexit, and they need to stay out of it. And I think every country does, because every single country in Europe is supporting other countries that can't support themselves. I'm not saying any names, Greece, but there are some countries, Greece, that don't know how to fucking be honest, Greece,
That was
and
the biggest fuck up
steal
ever.
money
And
from the other countries, Greece. And I love Greece.
The biggest mistake about the European Union was having one currency for all the countries, because they are economically on different steps of the ladder. That never made sense.
Every single country, Emmanuel, needs to break from it, because Eastern Europe, the way it's designed, is designed to do that, save the other countries and keep them all going, while mainly certain ones pay more. And you know that Trump made the statement. He says, you guys quit paying your bills, I'm back. You're paying your fucking bills. You heard that last week, right? Excuse me, I'm sorry. I haven't eaten anything. It's the soda pop. Joe, you heard that last week, right?
What's that?
When he said that shit about Germany, and he's doing this speech talking about it, and look at the faces on all of them, and then it cuts to Germany, and Germany looks very unhappy.
Yeah,
because they're one of the biggest offenders in Europe. They really are.
Right.
And I'm telling you, it's I'm excited. These are exciting times. They're scary too. We got some scary shit happening here in the United States. But I got to tell you, I believe that I need Anima in the United States for two reasons. One, I need her with me for the rest of my life because I love being with her. Two, also because I think she's got a better chance of being safe here in the United States than what's going on in the world right now. Because it's
Right.
I think it's gonna get
don't know
ugly.
about that one.
I do.
Well, I just want
Us.
people to remember we're getting a lot of victories, but be vigilant. Keep these people on the right track. You know, I'm not a big Trump guy, but he's the alternative to what we've been having to deal with. So
Yeah.
when he gets in
And
there,
I like
be
businessmen.
critical.
I don't like politicians. I prefer businessmen because being a president is a job for guys that know business. And we need to get lawyers out of the White House and keep them out.
Mhm.
We need guys. That's why I love that crazy little Simon Bar Sinister Perot so much. I love that guy. And there's a movie about him. A lot of people don't know that. Richard Crenna played him. It's called The Patriot. You remember that film? They also renamed it
No,
to
I haven't seen it.
Wing. I think there's another version called Wings of Eagle. Same movie. It's the story about how he got the hostages out back in '79, going into '80 during the Iran crisis.
He, you know, Perot, he was ahead of his time. He really was. He had the
was
same
so
problem
smart.
Trump has. He pisses off the other side because of what he says and the way he says it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, then they threatened his daughter. They threatened to harm his daughter, and that's when he pulled out.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounded good. Pulled out.
That doesn't sound good in the same sentence as daughter. No, that's not good. No.
Yeah. So we're at the 2-hour mark. Got to get going here. I love this movie. I really do. I hope you guys get a chance to watch it if you haven't already seen it. And if you have seen it, watch it again. Get the reconstructed version. It is so much better.
It's a good movie despite Mark Hamill. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, because look, Bobby DeCicco and Robert De Niro and Lee Marvin carry this movie. Mark Hamill's there
Robert
because he's
Carradine?
Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carradine. I'm sorry. What did I say?
You said De Niro.
De Niro, sorry.
I
Yeah.
short circuit like
fuck
that all the
that
time.
guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hamill is just there because he made Star Wars and they needed a big name. That's all it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I did get it set up. Mephisto, he's probably already started his show. So when we end the show, you guys will be transferred over to Mephisto's show. It is going, right, Martin? Is it going? Can you check?
Let me check.
Nobody do anything.
No.
Nobody talk.
I'm checking.
No,
Nobody
No?
talk.
I'm checking.
it's still up for another 1 hour. It will start in 1 hour.
Well, then it won't work.
Oh,
It's got to
So-
happen as it's. So there you go. Because everybody will be gone by then.
No way.
So anyway, thanks for dropping in, Mephisto. I'm sorry we're ending the show too soon. Sander Hammerschlag.
Oof.
Man, what'd you drink last night?
mouthful.
I had me some Hammerschlag. Sander
Hammerschlag.
Hammerschlag. That shit was good.
Right after the Jägermeister.
Yeah. Oh,
Ew, that shit's gross.
hey.
no,
you know,
it's not.
Yes,
If
it
you want a
is.
mouthful of anise, that's the drink.
I always
That's
called
the
it
drink.
NyQuil. That's what I called it. NyQuil.
Well, it tastes the same. It's got anise in it, and it's really strong. It tastes like a liqueur made of black licorice, and it's
What's
like so
NyQuil?
gross to me. NyQuil is something that you'll use when you get here and when you have a stuffy head. I'll get you some, and then it'll knock you out, and you'll be passed out, and I'll
It works,
probably
man.
Probably
It
fall asleep
works.
in my arms, so I'll probably like lay there and suffer for like 4 hours until you finally wake up and go, well, I thought to go to bed. I'll go,
It
okay.
makes you rest to heal up, is what it does.
Okay.
That's right.
Knocks
So
your
Penny
ass
was
out.
here. Penny was here. 11 Alpha, the Comic Relief Crusader, my buddy Mikey. Glenn Fleming was here. FKHC 2005, also known as Tim. Jacob the Critic. Fort Dix. Jason Cumnut. Vagina Trap.
These names.
I know.
What is with that? I mean,
And again, as I said, Tim was here.
The enchanter of the year. Tim.
Tim. This episode was brought to you by Martin with Hair. I'm not just a customer. I own the company, or I'm not just the owner. I'm a customer. And the approval of Father Weems. Oh, yeah, that was a good show, lad. There we go. So there we go. Bush wasn't here, so no video for him. We had
Bush is in the
no
hospital
breaches
again,
today.
Gerry.
Yeah, please send your prayers to Bush. He's down again with
Oh, no.
health issues. He's currently waiting for attention, medical attention as it is. And the other one too,
Alright.
because he's an attention horse. But we love you, Bush.
Yeah, we do. A good friend. So for those of you that didn't bother with breaching today, here's your video anyway.
Our brilliant generals had it figured that Rommel's push would come at a place called Spiba. So they massed most of the Allied forces over there. But they sent our regiment around the back way.
There you go. So there you go, guys. Did I miss anybody? Did I get everybody? Jason V is here. What is a world like Africa supposed to do? At least Russia and China puts an effort to help the other countries, even if they are corrupt. And I'll tell you, damned if you do, damned if you don't. So that's it, guys. We're going to get the heck out of here. I hope everybody has a great Monday. We'll see you next week. Do we have a movie for next week, Martin?
No, not
For
yet.
Monday, no, not yet.
What? I'll figure something out. I wouldn't mind to do Battleground. Wonder if we can get a copy of that.
Who'll stop the rain?
If
I like
we do
that movie.
Battleground, we should invite 11 Alpha.
I do know that we will be doing some cool movies down the line, and I did some new thumbnails that I'm pretty pleased with right now. I thought they were really fun to do. I love the thumbnail I did for FX, which we did the other day.
Yeah,
I know
great.
Saturday we are doing Gremlins finally.
2. Finally, yeah.
Yeah, Gremlins 2. We did it with Mephisto, but we're doing it on our channel this time. But
In our style, because it was weird doing it without a slideshow. Just talking about it. Something was missing.
On a related note,
I did.
On a related note,
On a related
Lokian
note,
put up a post the other day, and it was a picture of Phoebe Cates, and it said Gremlins action figure, right? And it said, well, I can't remember her character in Gremlins' name, but it says such and such as Dad, and it was a Santa Claus with a broken neck. You know?
Oh,
Fucking
with
hilarious.
broken neck.
Dark.
And we still don't know what happened on President's Day. We don't know what
Yeah.
happened. You know, Lincoln's birthday.
no, I don't want to know what happened.
See,
It's too funny.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious.
I'm not. It looks very morbid, so I'm better off not
You're
knowing.
good with that, Martin? You're good with not knowing?
This is one of the thumbnails I did. I love doing Grok. This was made on Grok.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple AI program that Twitter has. Or
Well,
X,
I
whatever
can
they
get it
call
to do
calling
certain
now.
things that I like. That's another one he
Nice.
did it with Grok. I love that movie.
Yep.
This is, of course, In Bruges.
Oh man, that's great. Those
Yeah.
are awesome, man. Yeah.
And of course, we will do Escape from LA. John Carpenter.
The Mad Magazine version.
It's
of
not
the-
a sequel. It's not a remake. It's a requel. Martin
It's
came
a
up with that one. I
yuck.
thought that was funny. So
Oh,
I love using Grok. I'm having fun with it.
yeah.
Oh, I love Don Siegel, dude. Fucking Don Siegel was the shit, man. One of my favorite movies that he did is The Cowboys with John Wayne, because he'd worked with Clint Eastwood. They had a great relationship. And at first, like, John Wayne was worried because this wasn't one of his movies. This is the movie he got hired to do, The Cowboys. And so he was nervous to work with him because Don Siegel is a known Hollywood liberal, and John Wayne is a known hardcore right-wing flag-waving patriotic conservative. but they got along great. They had a couple of run-ins, but most of all, it was pretty diplomatic, and they got along and made a great movie. And that, of course, is where Robert Carradine met John Wayne. So he's had the pleasure of working with Lee Marvin and John Wayne, two of Hollywood's biggest tough guys.
Yeah.
And I think he even didn't he work with Robert Mitchum at some point? I could swear I saw him in a Robert Mitchum film. Because Mitchum was another, a lot of people don't know, he was a hard fighter, man. He loved to brawl. And like it was said, you did not fucking rub him the wrong way. He will lay you out. And he was one of those one punch guys. He was a brawler, Mitchum. And my dad used to condemn him for smoking pot, and I'm like going, did you see why he did? Because booze made him fight. Weed made him relax.
Right? It's good for some people.
He stopped boozing, he stopped fighting, getting in trouble, being a bad boy. Because he was a Hollywood bad boy. He was one of the first major stars to end up in the tabloids. If you didn't know that, go back and look that shit up. Fucking Mitchum. And in Bruges, what? Oh, that's right. You were saying it the other day. I love that. I've just always wanted to go there and never got to go. Let's see.
I went there. It's really nice.
I love that fucking jawline on him. It's so fucking funny looking. Seriously, this is great.
Well, it looks like something out of Mad Magazine, all extreme.
America, fuck yeah. I'm gonna save the motherfucking day, yeah. I love that song. I love that movie. I'm trying to get Anima to watch it with me. I'd like to do it on here. We haven't done it on here. Team America. That is a great
movie?
fucking movie. I'd
Team
say
America.
Team America. The noises that Anima makes.
Was that done by the same guys that did the Thunderbirds?
No.
The animation part of it?
No, it's done as an homage to that. That was Gerry Anderson.
I was fixing to say it looks a lot like the Thunderbirds.
I called him Gerry Anderson when I was a kid, but then found out he pronounced it Gerry. But him and his wife Sylvia, and they did some great stuff, man, with Century 21 Productions. The puppetry. It's called Super Marionation. And you were somebody my age, if you know what that means, because I grew up on that shit. But he is the inspiration for Team America. Now, that was the Chiodo brothers that did the puppets for that movie. And I know that Trey Parker said in an interview, will you ever do a sequel? Because it was a hit, huge hit. And he goes, no, we will never make a sequel to that movie. That movie took it out of us. He says, you think working with puppets is going to be easy? It was a nightmare. And the Chiodo brothers pretty much echoed that sentiment.
Yeah.
But I love the unrated version that has the chocolate pudding scene.
Oof.
I don't even want to know.
That shit is funny.
Just
that shit is funny.
Yeah, I'm scared.
Making the joke. That
Literally,
shit
is funny, huh?
Yes. So this episode has been brought to you by, once again, Martin's hair. His lovely hair. Look at that. I wish I could have a head full of hair like that. Oh, wait, I do. So that's it. Joe, thanks for being here. Martin, thanks for being here. Anima, Confusa, as always, thanks for loving me. We're the heck out of here, guys. Everybody have a wonderful day. All right, bye now.
Bye.
That's all, folks.